Hey everyone, and welcome to another ballistic test. I am Mike B, back after almost a year of not making these because the weather is not fun to make these in the winter. Anyway, we've got the Czechoslovakian Vz.52, or some of you will say 53. I've seen them dated 52, so this one is dated 52. Just throwing that out there. We'll just get that argument taken care of right now. You want to get a nice close up? There, it's a Vz.52, right?
So, I don't know. It's a Vz.53 to me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you saw. You know, cognitive dissonance is a thing, Devin.
I don't know.
You got my sexy little Canadian Felonious Devonious behind the camera.
Felonious Devonious.
We're gonna be doing a lot of ballistic tests today, but we're gonna be releasing these over the summer. A lot of really cool stuff. We're gonna start out with this guy though, the Czechoslovakian Vz.52. So these were introduced in 1952 and used by the Czech military until it was replaced in the late 90s?
Late 90s, yeah.
Yeah, so this was used by Czech and Slovak forces until they came out with whatever. Before we get started, though, I have to do a disclaimer because I get this on
Couple disclaimers.
Every one of these videos. One, yes, we are destroying a piece of history if you want to look at it that way.
But making history doing it.
Yes, and it's a pretty decent, test that could show you, and that's what's going to segue into the second part of this, is yes, but the amount of information we get out of this test is worth more than this piece of history that's actually really rusty and pretty in rough shape. So the second part segueing into that is that we know that these are not designed to take direct hits for the 1000th time. We get that. It's interesting to us as helmet nerds, Devin and me, to see what they can deflect or stop though via direct hits and different calibers. Now we'll be doing pistol rounds, and since this probably won't stop our big boy pistol rounds, we'll just be doing pistols on this. What we do is if it stops all the pistol rounds, we'll go to the rifles. But for this one, I don't have high hopes to it. What do you think? How do you think this is going to perform?
Probably pretty standard compared to most com block stuff.
Right. All right. We will get going. All right. So one more thing. We are outside today. We're not in an enclosed, nice, cushy environment like mommy's basement.
You sure this isn't a simulation?
I don't know, but I know that I feel wind, and you'll probably hear it on the video, so please bear with us on that. That being said, let's get going. We got the Czechoslovakian Vz.50 pistol in 32 ACP. We're going to be shooting a 71 grain full metal jacket bullet at probably 5 yards, very close. All right, so it did what most of the other steel helmets do. It had a perfect deflection. It was a pretty dead center shot. So it went up and that away, which is kind of what you want it to do, maybe, instead of going side to side hitting your buddies. So that's pretty on par so far.
All right, so now it obviously passed 32 ACP. We're going to move on to 9 Makarov. We don't know the weight of this, but 9 Makarov.
That's interesting. What do you got? Oh, you hit the exact same spot, it looks like.
Right next to it, bam.
We're on par today. This makes up for those shitty videos from a couple years ago
yeah,
where we just couldn't hit shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I meant about the lighting. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he hit almost the exact same spot with a slightly larger cartridge, and it deflected. It looks like that deflected up and out. That's the one that hit me with the Swedish helmet last year, so I'm pretty, whatever. And there's minimal back deformation, if we can.
Yeah.
There we go.
Next to nothing. On the Vz.53 that wasn't made in 1952.
Weird. All right, moving on. So now we're gonna roll 9x19 millimeter, 124 grain full metal jacket out of the Beretta M92 FS. That's actually, this is doing very well. That completely, you can see come over to this angle, you can see it really well. Yeah, it splashed it. So the jacket fell off and it completely splashed it. And this is, again, we're actually shooting okay today so far. Wow, this is performing like most Eastern Bloc helmets do, but everybody thinks they're garbage. All right, now.
1911, I don't know, what's the weight on this ammo?
230 grain full metal jacket.
230 grain.
Good hit. That was a great hit. So that's why I said I wanted to go that way.
So we don't wreck all his beautiful solar panels he just got.
So, yeah, this thing, I mean, a 45 always does that. It's got all that.
It's a big energy transfer.
A lot of energy transfer, but this thing defeated it. So far, actually not bad. Now we'll move on to the real challenge.
The real big boys.
Okay, so as we were walking away, Devin pointed this out. Although there's no penetration, you've got severe back deformation right here. You've got two large cracks in the steel from the transfer of energy. Going, you know, it would go from here and transfer back, and it was so much that it would have cracked the helmet. So that's probably it's gonna at least ring the bell of the wearer, if not, you know, be permanently damaging them. So very interesting. So far, it's doing okay, but that's not good. So now we're going to do the deciding factor on usually what helmets are really, in my opinion and Devin's opinion, good. And some steel has deflected these, so we'll see if it defeats the 7.62 by 25 Tokarev. This is 1980s Romanian surplus. I'm pretty sure this is 95 grain full metal jacket at, forgot how many feet per second. Okay.
Clean hole.
Yep, which is honestly for a steel helmet not surprising, and it's not necessarily the end of the world. What honestly concerns me more is, yeah, so there's where it hit on the, you want to hold
dent there?
Yeah, you would take this off really quick. Yeah, so it did come right through, punched
Nice
through the liner.
clean little hole though, nothing super major.
And it actually didn't go through the other side, which usually it does on a steel helmet. So that's interesting. Now we'll, let's see, we'll line this up, so.
Sounds good to me. So didn't do good on the Tokarev, which is, you know, a very fast, tiny, moving bullet, meant to defeat a lot of body armor. So now we're just going to go to the polar opposite side of the spectrum. Very big, 142 grain semi-wad cutter 357 Magnum, huge energy transfer, and see what that does.
Interesting. There's the wind again. So that's not the worst we've seen.
No, that's pretty good actually. I mean, that guy's still dead.
Yeah, it's toast, but it's not going to go through the other side and hit his buddy.
I do like this cool like pattern it made.
That is really cool. It looks like a windmill of peace, kind of, in a way. You see that?
I do.
Anyway, all right, that's where we're going to end this test. So we'll just do a recap and we'll finish the video. So overall, that's not actually the worst we've seen as far as the steel helmet's concerned. You've got the smaller rounds with the 45 being kind of a more blunt round, but still in that smaller, less energy, less velocity category, less penetrating power. None of them went through, but the 45 did crack the back, like we were saying. Tokarev went right through, which is very expected on a steel helmet, splashed on this side. 357 went through, it's a fatal shot, but also not the worst one we've seen. There's been, what was that? Which was the one where we like shot the side, it caved the whole thing in with the 45 and the 357. Was that the French one?
The French M51,
where
yeah.
it just caved it all in and punched a clean hole, and it's like, you're definitely done at that point.
Even 32 ACP cracked that helmet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it made a big dent in it. Yeah. So anyway, not the worst we've seen, not the best. It's a mid-range, average steel helmet. So these were floating around a lot for the past 20 years, and actually getting kind of harder to find. You can find a lot of the updated ones, but the actual 52s are getting harder to find. So very interesting. Now, let me know what you think in the comments. This test is pretty cool, I thought. It went well. We're actually shooting okay today, so all you guys that bitched about our lack of marksmanship a couple years ago, still today, we're getting better, we're improving, right?
Fair. Well, you know, they might not know where any of these handguns shoot anyways. Just because theirs shoot really good doesn't mean that ours do.
Right,
so.
yeah, but today we're actually on target. So
We're
we're going to keep going, we're going to rock through a bunch of these. If you want to support Devin and I's work, subscribe to his channel, which I'll put a link to that in the description, as well as a link to my Patreon, and you can also become a channel member by hitting the join button below. You know, the support really helps with things like this. These cost money, the ammo costs money, especially this year. You know, we drove or it's going to be 2 hours round trip to get here. All this stuff, it costs money, and it's not your problem because we're putting out the content for free, but it really allows us to do these kind of videos and do things that we normally wouldn't be able to do just funding out of pocket. So you guys have been awesome in the past year. Devin's got you got a lot more patrons this year than you did last year, right?
Yeah, I got almost 20 now.
Hey, that's
so I'm up from like 12.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's cool. But anyway, so if you want to do that, $5 a month or more on either platform of support gets into my Discord server, which is a really fun time. People are hanging out in there. There's a lot of people in there, and it's a lot of cool things are exchanged, a lot of cool information. I learn a lot. It's fun a lot of times and all that stuff. So if you want to do that, those are the ways you can support my work and, you know, Devin kind of vicariously. And if you want to support us, but you can't do it financially, totally get it, not a big deal. You can just like this video, subscribe to Devin's channel and my channel, and throw something down in the comments what you liked or disliked about the video, who knows. And also share this video out if you found it educational and cool. These are pretty cool helmets. A lot of people like this Eastern Bloc stuff. There's a lot of like FUD lore around the fact that, oh, it's just Soviet crap, it's Eastern crap. Well, it performed as well as a lot of Western, well, actually performed better than a lot of Western designs, which is interesting. So that's kind of why we like doing these videos, and it's, you know, awesome. So that's fine. And if you're in the third category where you just like, nah, you don't want to support us, well, hate to say this, but you already did. So thank you everyone for watching. That's how you support us the most. And we'll see you on the next helmet ballistic test.